in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving higher, time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving higher.
Hello and welcome to the Moving Iron Podcast. This edition of Moving Iron Podcast is brought to you by Dawson Tire and Wheel, your premier ag tire and wheel provider in North America, helping people grow. And this week I have the pleasure of having Eric McPherson and John Elder on here from Dawson Tire and Wheel, and they've come up with an app that, well, basically helps you evaluate tires. And anyone that's in this business and understands what it means to evaluate tires and what that can do to the overall value of tires, it's a pretty big deal, and especially what the price of tires are. So their app they have is called TreadSure, and basically it's, well, Eric, explain it. Basically, it's an app that you take a picture of the tire, and it kind of gives you the overall feel of what you got, correct?
Yeah, well, we're not to the picture stage yet, but working on it. But what we're, as you know, Casey, we do business with equipment dealers all over North America, and as we've worked with them over the past 5 years, asking them how we can help them grow their business, do a better job, they kept coming back telling us that tires are sort of mythical. There's really not a way to know whether a tire's 20% or 40%, or whether it's adding to the value of the piece of equipment or taking away from it. And so initially we started down the road of offering trainings of how you measure tread depth, which, as you know, it's done anything from a thumb to a finger to a credit card, business card, whatever. Yeah, we actually had somebody take a picture of their credit card and send it to us once.
Did you get all the numbers?
Not the ones on the back. We were going to ask.
Okay, you're close though, right?
But so, we started down the road of training ag equipment sales guys how to measure tread depth. Well, then they came back and said, this really doesn't mean everything, because we still don't know whether that tire is 70% or 30%, because we have no idea where to find the data. Right. It says that tractor tire new, combine tire new was 30 seconds of tread. So we started by doing some tire charts, common tire sizes. Well, the common tire size to you in Western Nebraska is a whole lot different. The common tire size to an ag sales guy in Florida or Georgia or the Pacific Northwest. So
right. Yep.
that wasn't super helpful. And so what we've done is put all the data of all the tire manufacturers, or most tire manufacturers, together in one place, so that you can enter your measured tread depth and it'll spit out this tire is 70% or 30% or 50%. So kind of bringing data to this world. I don't know, John, you're on. You came out of the equipment world too. You pitch in.
Yeah. So to me, the biggest thing that TreadSure does is that, we've always been able to capture the data, Casey. We can teach people how to go measure a tire. The data is available in the data books to figure out what it was new. But what we've done is we've translated the data into information, so that when people, measure the tread depth, they put it in, saying that it has, 30 seconds remaining or something like that. That's great. What does that really mean? Well, but when you say it's a 50% or it's a 60%, right? That is what really helps. And I know you coming up through, kind of the remarketing kind of stuff, when you're talking about a big four-wheel drive tractor with triples all the way around, what's the difference in value between a 50 and a 75%?
Significant. Yeah, it's a big number, especially when you start looking at what the price of those machines or those tires would cost. The largest cost that you see on, especially let's use your four-wheel drive, for example. If I've got a 9R out there that's got, 800 duals all the way around it, what's the cost of the average 800 metric or 800 dual tire cost.
$5,000 plus.
5 grand plus. So you've got 8 of those, right? So now that's about 40 grand, 40, 50 grand, pretty easy that you wrap up there on that investment. And next to an engine rebuild or a transmission rebuild, that's about the next most expensive thing out there. And yet it's also the first thing when you look at a machine that you could have the shiniest, most beautiful machine on the planet, looks immaculate, and it's got a set of real crappy tires all the way around it. It really makes it look bad. It really does. So back to your point there, between 50 and 75%, or 60 and 75%, that's a big deal. When someone's looking at that, they're thinking that I've got a $50,000 investment out there, and I still got half the life left of those tires or something like that before I need to start making some decisions about what it is I'm going to start doing. And me as a guy evaluating equipment, I haven't had the credit card one yet. That's a good one for that one. But I had I don't know how many fingers and pictures and pins and cell phones and you name it. I've seen it just represent next to the tread bar on a tire, and it's everyone just says it's 50% or 60%, and I don't know how they get those numbers because I don't know where to find the data on that stuff. And having something like this would be pretty remarkable for me to be like, all right, this has got however many 30 seconds worth of tread left in it. I now know that it is X%, and that's going to help me evaluate that machine and put a good solid value on it based on a $50,000 or $60,000 investment in tires. So it makes a huge difference in the way things look.
Yeah, I mean, I think about it this way. I mean, you can pull an oil scan on an engine, you can do a fluid scan on a transmission, right? And you can know exactly what's going on and what's happened in that transmission and what's happened in that engine over the lifetime of the tractor. But probably your third most expensive wear component on the vehicle, and you're taking a picture at some angle of a camera with something that's supposed to represent depth, right? So yeah, that's why I say it's kind of translating data into information.
Yeah. All right, so talk about a little bit about that information that's in there. If I went to pull that information up, what kind of information I'm getting about the tire, that the Firestone tire, or the Trelleborg, or whatever it is? What kind of information am I getting out of this app?
Well, today it's kind of a cascading model where I enter the manufacturer, then that pulls up the models under that manufacturer. So I pick Firestone, it's going to pull up your maxi traction, radial all traction deep treads, and so on. And then if I pick a radial all traction deep tread, it's going to pull up the sizes that model comes in. And then today I have to enter the value of 40, 30 seconds or 50, 30 seconds or whatever I measure. And we're happy to provide tread depth gauges. Anybody that wants, needs, asks for them. And then it gives you the percent of tread life remaining. So it takes away that guess. And it's interesting, you guys are talking about it, that we've started some sales training with ag equipment sales guys, taking them out to a combine and tractor and having 10 different guys guess what the tire percent is. And it's not 60 to 75, it's 30 to 90.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's I know exactly what you mean there. That's I've done that same exercise too, where there's tell me what the difference between these two tires are, and it's night and day difference what you get from each sales guy.
So that's what it's returning today. There's a you can just use the calculator, or if you're doing a complete tractor, combine, sprayer, whatever, you can enter in, Casey's 9R 4-wheel drive, and then it's got all the tire positions, up to 12 of them, and you can enter up to 12 tires and email yourself a form, or your remarketing manager, or your general manager, or whoever's helping appraise the equipment, so you can actually add it to your evaluation process if you want as well. Two different things you can do with it.
Yeah. Inside that app, does it give you tire spec information as far as pounds per square inch and like speed ratings and those kind of things?
Not today, it doesn't, Casey.
Okay.
It's a tread depth calculator right now. We've got a big long list of enhancements, and some of those things will be included in the future, but they're not today.
So I saw the prototype of this app. How long ago was that? It was a Dealer Mind Summit, but like 2-3 years ago.
A couple years back, yeah.
Yeah, and you had a kind of some of the enhancements that you're talking about, but you had a demo that you're showing where you can take the picture of it and it actually captured the information from the tire. How far away are you from having that ready to go?
The technology is available on certain phones.
Oh, okay. All right.
But my challenge with that is that as we've gone down the road of R&D, research, development, is that not everybody's got the latest smartphone in the world of ag.
It's shocking, I know. Yeah, there's still flip phones out here. Yeah.
So, yeah, and even, two different things. One is taking the picture to capture the sidewall and then measure tread depth. So those are still on our list, but we got a ways to go.
Right on. That was a very impressive, man. When you showed me that, I'm like, dang, that'd make my job almost obsolete if you guys have this kind of technology. Just take a picture of something that tells you what you need to know. That's very impressive. It was a very impressive tool, and I think there's a great opportunity for folks here to use something like this.
And also, it's free.
Yeah.
Today you just download it either on your Apple device or Android, and we think we're over 700 downloads today as we speak, and we released it, John, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, something like that.
Right on. So that'll be a lot of good information there. So,
but we think even farmers, it's going to help them. They can, or ag producers, they might be wondering on their combine whether those tires are half wore out or it's the least return, and they need to be above 50%, and they're just trying to figure that out. So we think it'll be a tool that'll even go beyond just what an ag equipment sales guy needs when he's out assessing trades in the field.
Yep. Especially if the guy's going to go to an auction and buy a piece of equipment, and he's looking at that, or the neighbor down the road's got something that he's interested in. That'd be a great way to just solidify that, because it kind of all comes back to that. You got to put new rubber around that machine, whether it's 800s or whether it's row crop tires or whatever it might be. It's expensive. It really is. It's an investment that you got to make, and especially with the load ratings that we're seeing now as machines get bigger and bigger, and speed ratings of these machines in the field and transport speeds and all those different things. Understanding what you've got, and when it comes to just the health of the tire, it is going to go a long ways into making sure things are safe for everybody out there. So, my hat's off to you guys on this. I think this is a great tool for you. So you guys, I couldn't go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, so I have I could not do this without at least talking to you guys a little bit about what you see happen in the economy out there right now. So when you're looking at the tires that you guys are, the business that you guys see right now, are you seeing the same kind of upgrading of tires on machineries that we've seen in the past, or do you see more? Is your phone really banging right now with folks wanting to upgrade tires and stuff like that?
Yeah, go ahead and take that one, John.
Yeah. So, being the sales manager, I would tell you that it can always be busier, Casey.
I know the feeling.
we can always answer more phone calls and do more paperwork.
Right.
But yeah, I'd say in general, to be honest with you, that really cold snap that happened in February, there was a week of, or it was just bitter cold all the way down to Texas, pipes bursting in Houston, Texas. Yep. I think that week kind of everything kind of ground to a pretty well halt. But since then, it's been kind of picking up speed and kind of moving right along. So there is still a lot of moving of the equipment. And I think the biggest thing we're finding now is that, dealers are spending as much time or more trying just to find good used equipment to fill the need. There's more need than there is equipment to fill it. And we've got people that are just calling us up and saying, hey, I need this, get it on the road, get it going, and give me whatever the best you can for the trade. Just because when they find a good piece, they're having to jump on it quickly.
Yep. Yeah, that's no doubt, man. I haven't seen it like this for it's been 10 or 11 years since I've seen this level of magnitude of just, short supply on the new side, which then that spills over into that late model low iron stuff. And now we're starting to see that slowing I'm still slowing, but that picking up of that demand curve, the supply's low, demand's high type of thing. So it's definitely been busy. There's no doubt about that. As we head in,
how quickly things change.
Oh, I'll tell you what, man, went from being not for sure what's going to happen, and 3 months later, corn price doubles. So it makes for a change for sure. For sure. So one other thing you guys really do a lot of when it comes to the tires is pivots. So pivot irrigation, those kind of things. You start looking at those systems. That part of the growing cycle is not that far away. Planting season will be here within the next 30 to 45 days for most part of the world, the biggest part of the corn belt anyway. What's that look like? And then what's overall supply look like for you guys right now from factories? I mean, are you seeing, because it seems like about everything that we work with, there's some level of other, you'll have a 2 or 3 week spurt where things are going pretty good. Then you'll have a week or two where there's some lag, and then that throws things down the supply chain a little bit further down. I mean, what kind of supply are you guys seeing? And then, what are you seeing on the pivot side as well?
Yeah, so I would say the sales on the pivot side for pivot tires or irrigation tires in general the demand has been really strong this year. From a supply standpoint, we actually, I guess, what was it, Eric, maybe early last year when we started trying to diversify our supply chain and we started buying pivot wheels and tires from different manufacturers in different parts of the world. But obviously there's been shortages across the globe for supply chain. The biggest impact, I think, for us has been containers. And there's just so many containers. There's such a big container shortage. And whether it's coming from India or China or Europe, it doesn't really matter, right? If it's coming across a body of water, it's getting loaded on a container ship. And those containers are just in short supply, to be honest. So that was really, and that was probably our most significant issue, maybe a month and a half to 2 months ago. We've since started getting some more containers loaded, but now it's just, you still got to get them across the pond and you got to get them to the port. And now there's backups in all the ports, and everybody's seen the pictures of the container ships on anchor hanging out in the port waiting to come in and get unloaded. And then you've seen the pictures of all the containers sitting on the docks waiting to get trucks. So it's been a challenge.
Yep. Supply chain's been a big issue for sure.
And I think the biggest thing is, I think people are fully expecting that this summer is going to be just hot and dry. And there's pivots that have turned, last year they may have made 3 circles or 4 circles, and they're expecting they're going to have to just turn them on and leave them on. And then, you got ones in parts of North Texas in that Amarillo, Lubbock market that they turn them on to pre-water, and they basically don't turn them off until they harvest. And those guys, the sun, the heat, it just tears those tires up. And so they're having to replace them. And I think everybody's just kind of expecting that they're going to have to use their pivots this year, when maybe even places that it's supplemental irrigation, they're thinking we're going to have to put some serious hours on those things this year.
Yep. And that's kind of, everything's kind of pointing towards that. There's plenty of models out there that are showing, dryness all the way through planting season, all the way into throughout the summer, and we'll see what happens after that. But yeah, there's plenty of situation there.
I mean, you've done some podcasts on that too, right? So that's there's a lot of data out there that shows that we're headed to a pretty significant change in the way we
the way we farm based on way the solar activity is going to react with the Earth's weather. So there's a lot of data out there. So kind of scary too when you think about it, because it's totally different than what we've seen in a long time. So we'll I just have to wait and see what happens, I guess. But one other thing that I love about Dawson Tire, and the thing that you guys, from a remarketing manager standpoint, that I really enjoy is your used tire selection. So talk about what your used tire selection looks like right now, and is it as hot as new tires are?
Yeah, definitely. We still continue to do, as the equipment business has increased. I think our trade volume inbound has increased. So we actually have I think a really good, strong selection still of used tires and wheels, and continue to do so. And I still think that's a pretty core part of our business, Casey, that we can trade, and we've got a market for those trades kind of across North America, so that we're not, a combine that used to maybe got a dealer trade out of a different geographic area that just you couldn't use those tires and wheels in a certain geography. Well, we know where they go, and we know what they're worth, and they might not be worth anything in Western Nebraska, but they might have a ton of value in upstate New York.
Right. That is one thing about that used tire selection. I look at that first, especially when I'm looking at a machine that's got some hours on it. If I can replace it with 70 or 80% rubber instead of spending the money to get the new ones, I mean, also it represents that tractor kind of for what it is too. If you got a 5,000 hour rig out there that's got 70 or 80% rubber on there, that is, in my kind of feel, is that's the juice that's worth the squeeze right there on those used tires comparatively putting a brand new set of tires on there that you're going to struggle to get your full-fledged amount out of there. So yeah, those used tires is a big part of what I'm looking at when I'm looking at replacing tires. Anyway, I always go there first, especially if you can find that match that's a same brand with the same style of tire. That makes a big difference to do that, because you'd be amazed how many machines we come in here where they've got 5 tires that are the same, and 2 or 3 of them are from, I've never even heard of it. I don't even know where they found the tire at. And then you got to go replace that tire to make it be a matching set. So good stuff. Well, fellas, what else is out there on your mind right now that you want folks to know about what's Dawson Tire and what's going on in the tire business?
No, I don't know that I have a lot more. I'm just a reminder that if you're interested in TreadSure, you can go to TreadSure.app, which is a website, and you can download either on your Android or iOS device, or you can search on your Play stores, your app stores, find them there. So, and again, it's free. Tread depth gauges are free. Give us a call. We'll be happy to ship them out. There's a video link on the app or on the website to how to measure tread depth. So just our goal is really just to make people in the equipment dealers world just a little bit easier.
Yeah, if you go to the TreadSure.app, there's actually a link there you can fill out, and it'll send you, you can say how many of the tread depth gauges you want. Also, if you want some other literature like the top 25 tires and tread depths and that kind of stuff. And I would say that if you're just going to go to the app store, if you're an Apple user, put TreadSure in as 2 words, because apparently their algorithm, when you put in TreadSure as 1 word, it thinks you're trying to spell treasure, and it'll pull up a few thousand treasure hunting apps that are apparently out there. So if you put it in as 2 words, it'll pull it right up. But again, the easiest way is TreadSure.app.
TreadSure.app. Okay. And what's the easiest way to get a hold of Dawson Tire and Wheel?
Call John on his cell phone. No. Go to DawsonTireandWheel.com, and a lot of your phones nowadays, you can just click the number, or it's 888-604-3403.
Right on. Well, guys, I appreciate you being on the podcast.
Thanks,
Yep.
Casey. It's always fun.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure.
Moving higher in the 21st century.